So we vote Nero, cause Nero for we vote BMP. Nero have to win this seat for the fire, the peace, the community. Nero can never lose, cause he don't sell no dreams. What he say he does do, so what he say he does mean. So we going to the booth and we voting for truth. Them praying that he lose, but in the end he will win. Nero for the people, so we voting for him. Nobody imperfect, you get what I'm saying. We win, we win, we win, we win.
Good night, good night, good night, Deacon's Farm, Brandon's, Rosemont, Ferniehurst, all of the surrounding areas in St. Michael Northwest. Blessed good night. I wish to begin by giving thanks to the Almighty Lord for allowing me to do the good things and the good work that I have done for the good people of St. Michael Northwest. I wish to take this opportunity to thank the good people of Deacon's Farm for placing your trust and confidence in me, not only in 2018, but also in 2022. Tonight, I stand before you to present my report card on the developments across this blessed constituency of St. Michael Northwest. Those of you who would say that you don't see me, I wish to remind you that despite all of the adversities that I had to endure during my second term, please be mindful that I have never stopped working for the good people of St. Michael Northwest. And there are not many men who has the mental, physical, and spiritual strength to endure all that I had to endure and remain committed to the good people of St. Michael Northwest. And when I decided to make myself available and to enter public life, I never did so to get rich. I did so because of my past and the humble beginnings and substandard conditions that I grew up in Brighton, Blackrock, Ashton Village by extension. And as a boy growing up, I can say to you, the good people, I know what it feels like to be poor. I know what it feels like to have to endure utilizing a pit toilet. I know what it feels like to have to endure going out in the yard to take a shower under a pipe. And when I came to public life, I said to myself that every family across this constituency who I come in contact with, who are living in substandard conditions, I made it my business to transform the lives of those people. And I am pleased tonight to announce to you that within the last 2 terms, being the parliamentary representative for the good people of this beloved constituency, I was able to build 22 brand new homes for families living in these substandard conditions. And in my first term, and this is my report card, and I remember in my first term, My first report card was about 19 or 20 pages. Tonight, this report card is 51 pages. And to be honest, this booklet do not contain every single thing that I have done for the good people of St. Michael Northwest. And when I hear the opposition walking about, talking about he can't see the representation, and I ain't a carpenter or a mason, and they talking about I build houses. Boy, you don't know nothing about New Rowe. You don't know the amount of things I have done for the good people. This, unlike you, that like to be on social media every minute. Like you in a Playboy magazine. And tonight, I want to give him the facts. And you know one of the other things that had me so amazed is to see the opposition going into one of the houses that I Rowe built through Urban Development Commission, taking pictures and posting on IG. But he lucky that I am not a bad-minded person, because I will tell you to keep out the houses that I built across this constituency. But I will not be that disrespectful to tell him that. I will leave it for the house owner to do. And then my first term, I went on a rampage, pushing down and rebuilding houses. And they built about 12 houses, 12 to 13 houses in my first term. And these are just some, because the booklet could not hold all. And in my second term, the booklet barely holds 7 out of the 10 that I have built across this constituency for disadvantaged families. And I said last night, I remember traversing this constituency, and I've been to a family who was living in squalor. And I remember entering the backyard to go inside the house of that particular family who was utilizing an outdoor toilet facility. And the smell that from that pit toilet, they pushed me back out through the gate. And it also rebirthed the memories of me living in Black Rock, and my childhood memories having to go outside and utilize the pit toilet. And one of the first things that I did was to make sure that I locate the landlord who had owned the land. And I said to that landlord, listen, I really want to help this family. The fact that I have an elderly lady living in there along with her children, I really would like to help them. And I would love you to give me the permission, give me the documentation for the land, give me a letter granting the Rural and Urban Development Commission the permission to build. And I pleaded with that landlord, and the landlord was so gracious to give me the letter for me to rebuild that house for that family today. That is what representation is about, boy. So when you walk about this constituency trying to scandalize my name, and furthermore, look, listen, this is the kind of representation that Ralph sent about here. A man that taking, he feeding people food and taking labels with his name and mark vote for him. Nah? Why you don't do these things when you care about people? You can see a man's face, but you can't see his heart. But I know that his heart can never be like mine. I have done so much, helped so many people. And you feel that even if I give me somebody something to eat, that I will stick a label with my name on a full cartoon asking somebody to vote for me? That's a disgrace. And that is the kind of man that you all will want to represent you. He is a man that is about himself. He ain't caring nothing about poor people and people in general. And despite all that he do and say, he have to face the facts. I remember last year, my cell phone rang, and it was the Prime Minister on the other end. And she said to me, she called me into a meeting at a lower court. And when I attended that meeting with two of my other comrades, the Prime Minister said, Neil, what are some of the things that you need done in your constituency? I said, Madam Prime Minister, in the presence of my good friend, Jerome Walker, and Pat Paris, I said, Prime Minister, I would like all of the title deeds and conveyances for all the people that live in Deacon's Farm, Rosemont, Ferdyhurst, and Golden Acre. And prior to that, I had wrote and sent a letter to the former Prime Minister of Housing on the 21st of February, 2023. And I quote, I am writing on behalf of my beloved constituents of Rosemont, Fernyhurst, Deacon's Farm, and Golden Acre housing areas, who are presently residing within National Housing Corporation rental units for over 20 years, and who are qualified under the free transfer of terrace units under the 20-year program. I am aware that the transfer of terrace units under the 20-year program was put on hold in 2018, pending changes to the policy, which is understandable. Please be mindful that this is 5 years that the 20-year program has been pending for changes to be completed to the policy. I am also aware that in early 2022, a directive was given by the good Prime Minister, Mayor, the Honorable Mayor Motley QC, SC, MP, to have the amended policy for the free transfer of terrace units under the 20-year program be completed by October 2022. Minister, I will be grateful to have an update on the pending policy in order for me to convey your correspondence in relation to this matter to my deserving constituents who shall be able to benefit from the free transfer of terrace units under the 20-year program under the National Housing Corporation. Please don't hesitate to contact my office should you need any further information in regard to my constituents who are still paying rent in their units. Thank you very much in advance for your kind cooperation and understanding in relation to this matter. And despite all that I went through, I remain committed, I remain fighting for the good people of Deacon's Farm, Rosemont, Fernyhurst, Golden Acre, and this entire constituency. And I received correspondence from the National Housing Corporation in writing on the 21st of June, 2023. And I quote, Honorable Nero JP MP, Parliamentary Representative, Freehill Crescent, Black Rock, St. Michael. Dear sir, in reference to the 20-year program, I acknowledge your receipt of correspondence from your office regarding the caption matter. Please be advised that the corporation has commenced the process to convey the units to qualified tenants at Deacon's Farm, St. Michael. Because we have received 3 or 4 plans from the land surveyor, and we are advised that the preparation of the final plan is at an advanced stage. In a few days, officers from the corporation will be visiting tenants in the estate to verify information that will assist in the transfer process. Please be guided accordingly. Yours faithfully, National Housing Corporation. I want the Dems to know this is what representation looks like. In reference to the 20-year program, approved title deeds. And I want the good people of Deacon's Farm to know that I, Nero, through my beloved Prime Minister, Mia Amar Montley, one of the best ever, in association with the minister, my good friend and brother, Chris Gibbs, I was able to approve the conveyances and title deeds for 124 tenants in Deacon's Farm. That is what that is what the Dems got to deal with. Instead of walking about looking like a playboy, this is what representation is about. And if you want a manifesto, I can give you one too. So I can take a leaf out of my book. Boy. And to add to that, I have 21 tenants in Ferniehearst who will be receiving their conveyance and title deeds too. And 9 tenants in Golden Acre who will be receiving their title deeds too. And you walking about the place trying to attack my character and my representation for the good people of St. Michael Northwest, boy. Or you just see me walking about this place very quiet and humble, but I ain't that kind of boy that you can push about until I spin and I can keep my mouth shut. You don't really want to see the other side of Nero, boy. Anybody that know the history of me will know that I ain't that kind of boy that is a walk in the park. I might look quiet and I may be very soft-spoken, but I ain't a walk in the park, boy. And the Dems can never bully me or the Barbados Labour Party. And the only thing that the Dems good at doing is telling lies, scandalizing the good name of the good people in this great party called the Barbados Labour Party. And when I can't do nothing better because our track record has been tried and tested. And we have a political leader that Ralph Thorne can never, ever, in any day on this earth, dream to walk in the footsteps of Mia Amor Molly. Because Ralph Thorne ain't ready yet. And Ralph Thorne don't care nothing about Bajans. Ralph Thorne only care about himself. And a man that never did nothing for the good people of Christchurch South. And no rant of St. John. You feel the people out there can let do the same thing to them like they do to the people in Christchurch South. But Beijing is stupid. And to add to that, that boy had the audacity to be telling the media that the only roads that he know that I have done is the roads in Freehill. But that boy is so blind, I don't even want to call it dumb. I will leave that to you to do. But in my first term, I paved the whole stretch of Deacon's Road. And he that drive on that road, and he here realize that the Barbados Labour Party paved that road. We also paved the entire stretch of Gullen Road, and he here realize that the Barbados Labour Party, under my straw shit for St. Michael Northwest, have paved that road. And when you talk about Bridgegate Road, that I share a border with my good friend Chris Gibbs and brother, the Barbados Labour Party also paved that road under my straw shit in my second term, boy. And when I am re-elected on 11th of February 2026, boy, I will pave more roads across this constituency of St. Michael Northwest, boy. I don't got time walking about, sharing out food. I just be busy working. When the good people in Deacon's Farm messaging my cell phone telling me they want a street light on a certain pole because the area dark, where were you? And I was able to install a few streetlights across this constituency. And then like he that always on social media posting like a playboy. When I working. And I have done so much. And everything that I do not go and post on Instagram or Facebook. I do things because of the love that I have for my people and the work that I do. So I don't have to walk about taking pictures and posting everything. Because when I do things with a good heart, boy. And more street lights will be installed when I am re-elected. And Kurt, I know you asked me for a street light on that pole right here at the end of the car park. And you too shall get that street light. Boy, you should see me and left me, boy. When they come in peace, let me stay in peace. Because you don't really want to see that other side of the road. And when it comes to drainage issues, and let me give one a joke. You believe last year, he and one of his disciples had the audacity. I know we got a drainage course there in Beach Path. What's the water? And sometime last year, he and one of his disciples decided that they again calling the media. And I know, listen, it tells about it, right? Is that we have, I know I am on top of every issue in this constituency. And sometimes you could get delays when we send a directive to the relevant department to address certain issues. I am in contact with the CTO at the drainage department every single day, to the point that I begin to feel like he's made me miserable when it comes to getting things done. And also the Minister of MTW. And I remember I had reached out to get the water course there in Beach Path clear. And honestly, it wasn't done in a timely manner. So that boy and his disciple decided that they will get a private contractor to clean the water course. Just to look good. I call it political optics. You understand? And they cleaned the water course and left all of the debris from the road to move. They called in the media, had all the press coverage to make themselves look good for all political mileage, but they didn't do it with a good heart, because after they do it with a good heart, they would have moved the debris too. And I, Nero, along with the Minister of NTW, the Deputy Prime Minister of Barbados, I had to join hands with them, who joined hands with Drainage and NCC, to move 39 truckloads of debris that them left down there. You believe that? You believe that? Then they just want to look good, pictures in the newspaper, you know. But you know, I ain't expecting any better from them. Because they know the heart can never be like mine. Over 39 truckloads of debris, I had to end up moving from in that water course. And you know, right now the grass started to grow back up, and I will make sure that I make it my business to get it clean again. And when it comes to landscaping across this constituency, I have 2 NCC teams. And these teams are teams that I employed across this constituency. I employed people from Bridge Gap on that NCC team, Deacon's Farm, Rosemont, Ferniehurst. And then the second team, I employed people from Free Hill, Black Rock, Spring Garden, Pearl Bay, to help me maintain across this constituency and then that boy is what about? Talking about I don't do nothing. I installed the recreational park in Pavilion Terrace, the one in Sunnyside Court, one in Ferniehurst, one in Cavefield over Crescent. These are the things that I have done. And furthermore, the picnic benches that want to say no on tonight, I installed them too. So tell the boy, shut up. And furthermore, when it comes to the disabled, I don't forget them because I don't know what tomorrow holds. And I have installed and built disability ramps across this constituency for the elderly. Excuse me, because my sentence is dripping, right? When it comes to Pearl Bay, 3 brand new kiosks were built for the good people in Pearl Bay. When it comes to the agriculture project in Rosemont, the guys out there ran into some challenges because of water issues, and I am pleased to announce tonight that I was able, despite all of the red tape I had to go through, to make sure that the guys out there have their own water supply under the Northwest Alliance Foundation, boy. And when it comes to entertainment, I have the karaoke competition, a Flashstone bar, queue in the community, and furthermore, I am the man behind the Breakfast on My Block event, and he does come out there taking the most pictures, like everything that he's the man that established that event. But I want you to know, boy, I am the person that birthed it to benefit the men in Deacons. And to add to that, I rebirthed the Free Hill Blockorama for the Free Hill community and the Lower Black Rock community after 38 to 39 years of not being in existence. And he tells about it. These are just some of the things I have done. Vocational camps to benefit the youth in this community. I have appointed over 30 justices of the peace across this constituency. And they appoint people from Deacon's Farm, Ferniehurst, Brandon's, Bridge Gap, Ashdean, Free Hill, Pearl Bay. Just to name a few. When it comes to sports, after the Prime Minister launched the Prime Minister Cup, in the first year, I decided to launch the scrimmage small bar football tournament. And the Prime Minister Cup going into its third year, and this year will be going into its second year when I am re-elected on the 11th of February, 2026. And to mind you, look, when it comes to helping people, I don't take a picture of my face and stick it on envelopes or paper bags just to help poor people or people in need. I do. All right, no problem. Yeah. I do things with a good heart, right? And I want you to know I have assisted over 497 elderly persons across this constituency with home help and companionship care. I was able to assist 275 persons with Barbados citizenship across this constituency. I was able to assist 377 individuals across this constituency in the last 2 terms in being able to apply and to purchase their own homes through National Housing and Hope Program. I was able to assist 197 small businesses through the Barbados Trust Loan Fund. I was able to assist 27 young aspiring entrepreneurs to register the businesses at my constituency office, and to add to that, when they did not have the $104 to pay corporate affairs, I made sure that I paid it for them. And to add to that, for the last 7 years and some, I was able to provide employment for 579 of my constituents across this constituency in various government departments. That is what representation is about. And the turnover rate at certain hamburger places will never be the same in government and the private sector. We're sending people to work. But I want to tell the good people tonight that my plans for you for 2026 to 2031, I want you all to vote for me so that I can build 22 more urban houses for people who are still living in squalor across this constituency. And those families who may have challenges with land, I can make sure I fight my hardest to rectify all the land issues with some of those families who are not able to produce the necessary documentation in order to get their houses rebuilt or repaired. And it turns about it, time is short. And they did not even mention the amount of houses that I repaired across this constituency. And that has nothing to do with the houses that I have built. But I want to be able to repair more houses. I want to be able to expand my care of the elderly program and provide and rebirth my shelter service that I started during COVID-19. And I want to be able to provide a medication collection service for the elderly across this constituency. That is what representation is about. I want to be able to create more opportunities for people to be employed. And when it comes to the Deacon's Development Center, I want one to know, right? that I have been fighting to get that center operational. First, I went through the challenge of having it transferred from urban to the Ministry of Housing, from the Ministry of Housing to the Ministry of Education, and finally, it is under the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Community Empowerment. And I want to assure the people tonight that I, Neil Rowe, assure you that when I am re-elected, I will beg and ask the Prime Minister kindly to put the finances in the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Community Empowerment to renovate that community development center. And after we renovate it, I want to rename it after the late Lawson Weeks and the late Mark Williams Youth Development Center. Boy, deal with that. Come in. I want to expand the fundraising projects that I have started, similar to Breakfast on My Block. I want to expand my tree trimming program, demolishing derelict houses and removing abandoned cars. I want to expand those programs for the good people of Deacon's Farm and across this constituency. And I want to assure you that when you vote for Neil Rowe, I will continue to fight for the good people of Deacon's Farm and the entire constituency of St. Michael Northwest. I will continue to fight for those who still paying rent after 20 years. I will continue to fight for you to make sure that that will come to a stop. And that is an assurance and not a promise. And I ask you, the good people of Deacon's Farm, to vote for Neil Rowe on the 11th of February 2026. You know what you have, but you don't know what you will get. And put your trust in the Barbados Labour Party under the stewardship of Mia Amor Motley, one of the best leaders in the world, and Neil Rowe, who will continue to represent you. Good night, thank you, and God bless.